Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, chief meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
This time of year, we often hear of lost hunters. Sometimes they don't make it out of the woods alive. But in Columbia County, 3 missing hunters were found safe and sound. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci says they survived a night of temperatures in the 20s on a mountain.
We were warm all night. We had a beautiful fire. So it actually turned out not to be too bad an experience. No. I wouldn't want to do it every night.
James Sprout and Lester Schuyler were in good spirits shortly after finding their way back to civilization. Their return to Beaver Township marked the end of a state police aerial and ground search that had begun early in the morning.
The 2 hunters became lost when they, along with Sprout's son Thomas, shot and tracked a deer in the woods near Slabtown shortly before dusk. Before they knew it, it was dark and they were lost.
Thomas Sprout, the youngest of the men, made it back to his house here in the woods on his own just before sunrise, and he called for help. But he didn't stay very long.
He lit a kerosene lamp, and he called everything. He says, "I'm going back and get my father and the other guys."
He went right back out.
He went right back out.
By mid-afternoon, concern for Tom had grown. His father and his hunting companions took to the woods and tried to make as much noise as possible. But as it turned out, Tom didn't need the help. He found his way home on his own by 3:30. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Columbia County.
The phones are ringing off the hook at the National Cancer Institute over a dramatic new cancer therapy. We'll have an update.
Plus, later on, Mike Stevens will introduce us to a woman who sees art in the trees.
Pizza crumbs on the floor in the kitchen? Quick! Get them with the quick up! Cookie crumbs on the floor in the bedroom? Quick! Get them with the quick up! Potato chips on the floor in the living room? You know what to use. The Eureka Quick Up Vacuum Cleaner. It's cordless, rechargeable, and mounts on the wall. There's no quicker way to get a mess. The Eureka Quick Up. It's cordless.
The new Eureka Quick Up is available at JCPenney and Pomeroy. This holiday season, let Faye's Drugs help bring some of the excitement and fun of Christmas into your home. And what better way to treat your friends and family than with Planters mixed nuts, peanuts, cashews, almonds, Brazils, filberts, and pecans. And there's 20% more in this special bonus can. Faye's sale price just $2.14. Delicious Planters mixed nut assortment. Now in this beautiful full-color Christmas circular from Faye's. Obviously not your average Christmas store.
Meet the Fletcher brothers. Ronnie only likes potato chips that are fresh. Donnie only likes potato chips that are fresh. Fred only likes potato chips that are fun. And how does Mrs. Fletcher keep her boys happy? With hers potato chips. Hers taste better because they're always crisp, guaranteed fresh, and always fun. So if you want a great tasting chip, switch to hers. Hers tastes better than theirs.
Get a free Mickey LP. Look for your coupon now on specially marked Hers bags.
People in our area are asking tonight about a new experimental weapon against cancer. We told you last night about a dramatic new cancer treatment being tested in Maryland. It converts white blood cells of a patient into cells that attack cancerous tumors. Today, the phones were ringing off the hook at the National Cancer Institute in Bethesda, but researchers are saying that it's still being tested. It is just a first step in treatment and not a cure. Here in our area, people are asking how soon will this treatment be available here, where the cancer rate is 38% higher than the national average. Doctors say not anytime soon.
This won't happen that way. This may turn out to be one particular agent that we can add to our other conventional treatments, like surgery or radiation or chemotherapy, that will enhance our ability to cure things, okay, to cure cancer. But I don't think by itself it's going to be the answer.
The experimental treatment is being called the most promising biological approach to cancer yet found.
Some call it a devastating setback for the rights of poor women. Others say it could save up to 5,000 unborn children every year. We're talking about today's state Supreme Court ruling that Pennsylvania can continue to refuse Medicaid funds for most abortions. Medicaid had paid for abortions for needy women before 1982. That's when the state's Abortion Control Act became law. But since then, Medicaid only pays for abortions needed to save the mother's life or in cases of rape and incest. Some say denying the money to poor women is the same as saying they can't have abortions. But the court says a woman's right to an abortion does not guarantee the right to state funds. In Wilkes-Barre, it's a case of a mini expressway that's not really a mini expressway.
Wilkes-Barre Boulevard, once thought to be a quick way of getting from one end of the city to the other, is now dotted with traffic lights. And if you've ever been stuck there in traffic, you know that the boulevard is nothing more than a glorified city street.
Well, Newswatch 16's Mark Davis is live there now. How did things change, Mark?
Well, Karen and Nolan, officials in the city of Wilkes-Barre call this the necessary evolution of a street. Why this road has changed from its initial concept to what is now reality.
Wilkes-Barre Boulevard, the road that runs almost the entire length of the heart of the city. When it was first conceived back in the middle 1970s, the boulevard, as seen here from Skycam 16, was thought of as a quick way to get through the city without getting bogged down in city traffic. But now that idea has not become reality. Traffic control workers are putting the finishing touches on the 6th traffic light on the boulevard at the new Butler Street intersection. Another light on an already busy street. It's getting mixed reviews.
I think it's going to be a help because there's too many accidents here. I think it's going to be a very good help. It does slow it down. The two lights are bad enough right now on the boulevard, but this one is, I don't know. I think it's kind of a pain. I think they should have kept the bridge.
City engineer Bob Betzler agrees the boulevard is much different than first thought, but adds the city has changed quite a bit, too.
Yeah, now it's going to become basically more like a very prominent city street, I would think. Better than our average city street, but still with all the lights and the driveways.
Now, there is some good news with all of these lights. The city engineer tells me that the city is applying for some PennDOT money to put this new light here at Butler Street and some of the other ones at the other end of the boulevard in sequence, so you'll be able to get in and out of the city more quickly. Now, the word on the money for the upgrading of the traffic system is expected sometime early next year. I'm Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam on the boulevard in Wilkes-Barre. Karen, Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. Scranton officials are working fast to get their civic arena project off the ground. Today, 2 state representatives hand-delivered special papers to Harrisburg. Last night, we told you the city council confirmed 5 members of the new arena authority. Well, that authority's first step toward doing business is to incorporate. The papers filed today should do that. Officials are trying to cut through all this red tape as fast as they can because to finance the arena with tax-free bonds, the bonds must be sold before the end of the year. In January, they're no longer tax-free.
The Weather Watch is next with our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark.
And are you still talking about snow, Tom?
Well, the landscape is about to change color.
I guess so.
Now, I'll be right back to tell you how steep it's going to get.
Excuse me, of all the tough cleaning jobs you use Top Job for, what's a really tough one?
The rain. It gets splattered with greasy dirt.
Right, but greasy dirt also gets on walls.
Yeah?
And cabinets.
Uh-huh. Appliances.
No wax floors.
That's practically all over.
Yeah, just look. On the toughest baked on greasy dirt, Top Job out-cleans ammonia and leading lemon cleaners.
Since Top Job cleans so much, so well, wouldn't Top Job be a better name?
Saturday, the Globe is having a tremendous one-day, 14-hour store-wide sale. You'll find great savings on all 6 floors in nearly every department. You can shop Saturday from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. and find incredible savings on everything on your holiday shopping list. The Globe's tremendous one-day, 14-hour sale. Look for our 24-page section in Friday's Fashion Time or your mailbox. You don't want to miss this one-day sale, Saturday, 8 till 10. Let's go out to the backyard right now. Tom's going to tell us about weekend weather, snow coming.
You got it.
Button up out there, fella.
You bet. It's plenty cold. The snow has not begun yet here, but it has been snowing for the past couple of hours out in central Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, we have this Winter Watch 16 school announcement. All evening classes at the Center County Vo-Tech School have been canceled tonight due to snow. Driving is treacherous out there. We'll get to the forecast. I had lunch today with the Golden Age Club of Wilkes-Barre. And I want to say hi to all the members watching tonight and to all the boys and girls in the group Make Someone Happy from Nanacoke. They were there today. We all had a good time. Here's the next list of names of people who have won John Deere caps in our snowblower contest. Stephen Mistally, New Milford, Paul Vergellen, Carl Hagen, Ann Williver, and Mrs. Georgianne Hopfer from Harvey's Lake has won a cat. Let's go to some temperatures across the region in the past hour. Here in my backyard, cold enough for snow at 32. And Raymond Smith, weather watcher in Belleville, that's in Mifflin County, he reports 30, some snow. Diane Popnick in Barnesville, Schuylkill County, 26 degrees. And from Falls, Ron and Amy White report 29 degrees there in Wyoming County. Tonight's holiday house belongs to Tom and Nancy Cawley along River Street in Wilkes-Barre in Scranton. It's in the background. Humidity, the wind barometer, today's high 33, the record high 65 degrees. An inch of snow fell here a year ago. And there's Tom and Nancy's place along River Street in Scranton. Okay, now, here's the latest satellite view. Notice here's the storm coming in. It's not all that big, but it's packing some snow. You can see a slight rotation of wind carving the cloud cover there around the storm center. Snow now into almost to Sunbury. It's heading east at about 30 miles per hour. Snow out across Ohio and Michigan. About an inch or two has fallen so far from this storm out that way, and we're not going to see a lot of snow here, but I think just enough to shovel and plow by daybreak tomorrow. Now, here are snowfall amounts as we are projecting now from the storm. New Milford up to the north, 1 to 2 inches, about the same in Williamsport and Minersville down in Schuylkill County. Out there in State College, a couple of inches, maybe even 3. In the Poconos, the higher plateau, Hazleton on up to Forest City, about 2 to 3 inches of snow. Should be on the ground by about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Maybe some school delays in the morning, but again, nothing all that deep from this storm. Here's the sunrise time for tomorrow morning, and that will come at 7:14, and the sun sets at 4:34. So for tonight, the snow comes in 1 to 3 inches. Should do it for northeastern and central Pennsylvania, 29 the low. A little light snow, some snow flurries tomorrow morning for the rush hour. You should allow for some extra time tomorrow morning. Then just becoming cloudy in the afternoon, some clearing, then late in the day tomorrow night. Saturday looks okay, partly sunny, 32. Sunday looks good, too, so I should be out in the snow here at 11 o'clock, giving you the very latest on this storm.
Enough to build a snowman?
We'll try.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll join you. Thanks, Tom. Showzone is next with the Sports Watch. He'll tell us what's happening with Northeastern Pennsylvania's baseball franchise.
Watch Show will also have a Sports Star of the Week.
Different. One of the largest selections anywhere. McGregor sweaters for men at Hills. Shetland, Argyle, Cable, vests, and more. Discounted 35 to 40% every day. In fact, all McGregor menswear is discounted at least 20 to 40% every day at Hills.
Hey, Marty, you seen the monthly receipt?
No. How we doing?
Oh, beautiful.
Frankie's spending money on Meisterbrow like it's going out of style.
Quality deal.
Expensive. Oh, yeah. Polly at the Kit Kat says it ain't expensive. Says it just tastes expensive.
So?
What's that little weasel doing with the do-re me? He says he's spending on the beer.
Oh, baby, that mink is making you look like a spot.
Rich, smooth Meisterbrow. It only tastes expensive.
Well, when it's cold, talk of baseball always warms you up, right?
You're right. Let's think baseball for a second. I know some of you were a little bit concerned last winter when Northeast Baseball shelled out $350,000 for a minor league baseball franchise in Waterbury, Connecticut, of all places. Well, it looks like that money was well spent. Northeast Baseball, I'm told, has already been offered more than $500,000 for that same franchise. Now, they've turned down the offer because they don't want to sell the AA franchise until they can secure a AAA team. Northeast Baseball wants to be sure when the stadium opens in the spring of 87, they've got a team to play in it. You know, as I look back over this past high school football season, I can't help but think how many times Bob Buddy's name was mentioned as a possible sports star of the week. Finally this week, after a championship performance, we honor the Dunmore running back.
We dedicated seasons to my father. We came this far, and there was no way I was going to let it get away.
And what a season it was for Bob Ruddy. Over 1,000 yards rushing. An undefeated season for his team, the Dunmore Bucks.
topped by his outstanding performance in the championship game of the Eastern Conference. 23 carries, 142 yards, and 3 touchdowns. When Bobby scored, what he was pointing towards was this tree, planted up here looking over the field. A tree planted in memory of his father.
For every time me and my brother scored, we would point this tree to my father saying, "This one's for you."
Did it kind of make you feel that he was looking over you while you were playing? Is that the basic idea behind it?
Yes.
And every time that we would go out on the football field in our game after we had our pregame warm-up, I'd bring 2 boys together with me, and I'd say, Dad's watching us, and let's make sure we do the best job we possibly can.
As Bob was getting inspiration from the memory of his father, it would filter down to the rest of the team.
Our kids look to him, and the more that you run him, the better he gets. It seems as tired as he may get, the better he would get. And our line had a great deal of confidence in him.
Great performance against West Scranton, Bob, and you've been a great inspirational leader to this whole team all year long. You're the WNEP-TV Sports Star of the Week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, 2 other kids we've got to mention. Crestwood's Dean Ambosi, 20 carries, 155 yards in Crestwood Class B win over Blue Mountain. And let's not forget Tom Martin of Bloomsburg, 40 carries, 207 yards for Bloom University in last week's NCAA playoff game. It's amazing, isn't it, how valuable you become to the people you're working for when somebody else wants you. Bobby Ross, the head coach at Maryland, is going to stay right there. He will not take the job at Minnesota, the one left open when Lou Holtz went to Notre Dame.
I have withdrawn my name from consideration at the University of Minnesota, and I was contacted by Minnesota, and I had also been contacted by the University of Pittsburgh.
Ross was not, by the way, a major consideration for that head job at Pittsburgh. I'm told that the guy they want at Pitt is George Welch at Virginia. I know you've heard the name before. That's all of us. Give tonight your best shot. See 11 o'clock with Kings and Wilkes. First big basketball rivalry of the year.
Yeah, always a good matchup.
Thanks, Bill.
Newswatch at 10 continues with the story of an artist who whittles to find unusual forms in wood.
That's next from Mike Stevens on the Pennsylvania Road.
So you're ready to play the lottery's winter green game. Now, when you buy your ticket, you feel a rise in body temperature because you could win $75,000 instantly. And you could feel a tingling in the toe area because the grand prize is $1,000 a week for life. So if you win, you get a chill. Starting here, moving to about here. Could happen to you. How you doing, Marty? I got a chill. Starting here, moving to about here. Play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new $1 instant game, Winter Green.
Yuengling was brewing premium beer back in 1956, in 1919, in 1860, and all the way back to 1829. 5 generations of the Yuengling family have been helping America quench her thirst for over a century and a half. What a tradition. What a great beer. Yuengling, America's oldest, is still America's best. And that's a promise from Dick Yuengling himself.
This holiday season, let Faye's Rugs bring some of the joy and excitement of Christmas to your family. For gifts that keep on giving all year long, give Schick electric shavers from Faye's. For her, the Lady Schick Light Touch, on sale now only $12.78. For him, Schick Total Touch Flex-O-Matic with pop-up trimmer, on sale just $17.88. Money-saving Schick values from the brand new full-color Christmas circular are waiting for you now at Faye's. Obviously not your average Christmas store.
We've all perhaps used the phrase at one time or another that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Our man on the Pennsylvania Road, Mike Stevens, visited with a Luzerne County woman who apparently can see much more than we can.
The woods in autumn, deep and dark and almost silent. You would not consider the stuff of sculpture and what it can say about living and loving and what we think would be here in the trees, but it is. Edna Fiola Kishbaugh knows it is, and she will find it.
I find it challenging, and that is why I do it. I wasn't kidding when I said that. I do like the challenge of going inside something and digging out exactly what you decided was in there.
Edna follows the grain of a log, those darker lines that lend character to a piece of wood sculpture.
By golly, you seem to know where you're going with that.
Yeah, I do. It's just discovery. You gotta look at it all out.
Work is perhaps 150 hours of this. Whittling away, Edna calls it, to achieve this.
And what does go out of my throat, I think it's a warmth. There's a warmth to my work. And there's also a feeling that you're going to touch it.
People come up to you as soon as you touch them.
Yeah, and you can always touch them. I don't mind that, though.
One thing you notice about Edna's work in a setting like this is that it seems to belong. Her pieces did, after all, begin in a place like this.
This is Madonna and Child, and it's just a very warm piece. And, of course, it's a mother protecting this baby.
Warm and what if says a lot about what Edna does. Suppose a snail, for example, had the sense to come in out of the rain.
And I stuck the person in it. And I called it tenement housing, because that's the only cell left. I just picked it up.
Critics are fond of trying to explain what Edna does. She calls it simply art for art's sake. That is, after all, what art is supposed to be. I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road in Luzerne County.
And that is Newswatch 16 for Thursday.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update when we'll tell you about a first for the Luzerne County Courthouse, and it all has to do with a holiday display.
For the entire team, thank you for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.